Okay, so we're out harvesting lavender today. It's kind of a little challenging this year. The plants are so big, our harvester has a hard time handling them. Has not been the case, but they're getting older in age, so they're just starting to get really big. So, anyways, it's a patience test this year. So anyways, I figured I'd do a video on lavender production, plant, harvest, distill, the whole thing. So right over there is some stuff we planted last year, and let's go take a look at how we did that. So today we're out planting lavender, adding more of a certain variety that we already have. So it starts a couple months prior to today with this. They take a cutting off of the mother plant and the greenhouse, and they grow it into that. It's a couple months of growth on there. So yeah, so here we are. This will have, quite a bit of a head start, especially when you bring it out here, put it in the field. You just can't start from seed, it just doesn't work. So, the transplanter up there, they come in trays of 50 or 75. 50 is the majority of them. Pull them out, put them in with the transplanter, and better save that, put that in later. When you drop them in the transplanter, it goes into a thing called a wolf that's shaped kind of pointed, and it goes into the ground, opens up, and kind of goes like this, drops, opens up, then the press wheels on the back close the trench and pack the transplant in. So yeah, one reason you see the wheels on the tractor, the tires are spread out so wide. In order for that to go into the ground and open up and go where you have it set, the ground has to be soft. I mean soft, very soft. So you have to have the tires spread out that wide so you're not driving on where you have already tilled it up, made it soft to plant. We've experimented in the past by running the tires in really narrow. It just doesn't work. It's just, the way it goes. They are planted on 3 foot, so they're in the row, 3 foot centers, 6 feet apart. The rows are 6 feet apart. Different parts of the world. I was in France touring a farm, and they plant on 18-inch spacing. I guess wherever you go, it's different. This works just fine here. Also, while I was there, we have some lavender under drip irrigation and some under pivot. While I was there, I was touring a farm, and we were up in we were at like 4,400 feet elevation, and I says, what do you do for irrigation? And he says, rain. So he gave me how much rainfall they get a year, and I came back home and I says, why are we putting drip tape down when we can just run a circle over it and pretty much do what they're doing with a pivot instead of rain? So save some input costs there. That was a fun trip to go over there and check it out. So these will grow pretty good this year. We probably won't you might trim them back this year. You won't get any production off of them. So over there, and we have some over there and more over here. Those are going on 4 years old over there on that stuff. 4th season. So Um, yeah, it's been a learning curve, but we got it figured out. It's been fun. So it's pretty it's pretty trouble free. It's pretty easy. You just ride the transplanter, drop the plants in the transplanter. For the most part, you don't have to do much. Just pull it out, put it in. So you just have one guy on there kind of moving trays around, putting fresh trays in front of the people putting them in the transplanter. The other people you see, sometimes you get some that they skip one, or the transplanter doesn't drop it in right, so they're just back here following, putting skips in, making sure the plant's upright, not laying over, stuff like that. So it's pretty fun. Averaging about 15 to 1,600 plants per hour right now. So moving along pretty good. By the end of the day today, I will plant about 300 trays at 50 each, so about 15,000 plants. And we'll be out of that variety. So, cruising along at a whopping half-mile an hour. It's just as fast as you can go. You can't go any faster than that. So, that's Gilly. You've seen him in some other videos. So over here we got the just a little field cultivator with the rolling harrow. That's what we use to loosen it up before we plant. Try to capture some moisture so we don't get too far ahead. Like I said, I just keep one pass ahead of them. Also, too, on the transplanter, we're putting down just a little dash of water with each plant. That's just to help it out. So, yeah. What else can I talk about this? Starting to rain, so hopefully that doesn't shut us down. We ran into some other same variety, just a different. It's been a different growth stage we're getting them in. These plants right here, actually. On the planter, there's these brushes to keep the wolf clean, the part that goes into the ground, while the plants are just a little bit too bushy and they get hung up in those brushes. So what we will be doing is pulling those brushes off, and we might have to stop and clean the transplanter off a little more often, but it's better than planting them by hand. So it is what it is. So yeah, you're always doing something. So yeah, like I said, just do this, just keep one pass ahead of them at a time. Not that big a deal. So we're actually planting into a spot that already had lavender in it. That was just a variety that wasn't a sought after variety. So we took it out and got the variety that everybody wants, and we're going from there. So yeah. This little field cultivator and harrow works really good for rolling harrow works really good for this. Just small enough. You don't need the big iron out for this. This works quite well. So on our pivot, we run variable rate irrigation, which has a solenoid on each sprinkler, and we can come and write a program. So when we're harvesting, or like right now, we only want to water what we've planted. We can come in, write the prescription, and it will only water where we want it to. Works pretty good. Okay, so now that we've seen how we plant it, here we are harvesting. As you can tell, we're having to take one half of the plant or the hedge, and then we have to come back and take the other half because it is so big. All this will not fit through the harvester. Yeah, I think the hedgerows over here are a little bit bigger than they are in France where that harvester was made. So show you here. See, we're only taking from the top down, and then we'll come back and you adjust the harvester the other way and you take from over there up this side. It's been a struggle, but it's a good struggle to have. So what it does is there's two forks. Well, you kind of see they look like that, and they have a chain on each one, and there's a sickle right at the top. It's really hard. Anyways, there's a sickle. It gathers it, cuts it, pinches it in the conveyor, dumps it in the hopper. And then there's a chain on the floor in here, and it just kind of tumbles it like a round baler. So, it's pretty interesting. Yeah, sometimes you'll catch a row, you'll rip a plant out,
gets kind of ugly sometimes. So, yeah, that's harvesting. I would walk up there, but you can hardly walk through here. It just, there's no, you can't even. You can't even, yeah. I don't even know why I tried to walk in there. So as you can see, we're kind of, like I said, we're taking half of it. We'll come back and get the other half. It's just kind of the only way it works right now. So, yeah. Well, let's go take a look at how they, how we unload it, and then we'll head to the still. So here we are getting ready to dump. It has a like a forklift mast back here. Lifts the whole hopper up. And there's a door, folds down. It happens. It's so big and bulky, it's hard to get it to come out with this falling. It's like an art getting that to load in there. Alright, so here's the harvesting head. Like I said, a little better description than my fingers. Have the gathering chains, pulls it up into the middle. There's a sickle down in there, cuts it, and then these chains here, or not chains, these belts, they just pinch it. There's no bottom to it. It just pinches it and takes it up into the hopper. So, pretty simple. I mean, nothing fancy. So, anyways, all right. Well, I'm gonna help him clean this up, and we'll head to the boiler, head to the still, and check that out. So here you are back at the shop. This is where we distill it. So we transfer it from the trucks to these little tubs. It is packed in evenly throughout the whole trailer. You can't have any spots that are more dense or as light. It has to be pretty consistent all the way through. Steam comes from the boiler, this hose, into this manifold here, and there's pipes that run the length of the trailer. They're about 1 inch diameter, and they have like 1/8 inch holes every 4 or 5 inches, maybe. Maybe even closer than that. Anyways, down the whole thing, and they're capped on the end, and then your steam rises through, and as it travels through, here's some lavender bud. It breaks that open, or kind of bursts that open. It captures the oil that is there, and the oil, or the steam that is, yeah, so the steam when it comes up has oil in it, and we go into the building. This is pretty much the same one here, same setup. This one's just a little different. yeah, so we'll walk in there, we'll check it out. I'll show you from there. So now we're in here at the still, got the boiler, the separation towers, cooling towers. So that was outside. Your steam comes in there, comes down this tower, and as once it gets inside here, there is a whole bunch of pipes about 2-inch diameter, and they run up and down. And then cold water comes and works its way to the top. And then there's a thermostat that controls the temperature of that. Hold on, we're gonna shut this off. There, now I can hear. So, as the steam comes in, it has to be cooled back down to liquid, and it has to be cooled to a certain temperature. So there's a thermostat down here. And it controls the water going in, the cold water. It's fed from a tank over here. As you know, as it starts cooling back down, your steam and oil mixture is all now liquid. It comes out right here, follows it down, and into this tower. Well, you got your temperature probe right here. You want to keep that very consistent. So that's where the electronic thermostats come in. It is controlling the temperature of that water coming out. In order to do so, you take your cold water and it rises. So by the time that cold water, which is going in at 50 degrees, maybe even colder than that, comes out at the top up there, this pipe is so hot you can't even touch it. And then that water returns to this tank over here, which is the feed tank for the boiler, and then feeds that anyways. So once your oil, your water oil mixture comes into the bottom of this and it separates out, inside here there is about 4 or 5 plates of expanded sheet metal welded at an angle, and that's for the oil and the water to catch on, and it kind of breaks it apart. Then you have the oil's probably about here. Then the oil, just fills up and then runs out this tube into the jar. Then this here is what is called hydrosol. You see the steam finally broke through. The steam finally broke through the trailer. So now it's just starting to make oil. Let's start dripping there. So this here is the hydrosol, and that is the steam, essentially the steam turned back into water, and it has a little bit of lavender smell to it. And that just piped in and it runs out outside into the drain ditch. So, yeah. That's how it's done.